Что за хуйня видео?
Oh no, we're gonna rock down to Electric Avenue, and then we'll take it higher. Oh.
What's up? This is Angelo from Raider, and you are listening to Metal-O-Mania with the Crypt and Scully.
This is the Crypt from Metal-O-Mania. It's time to jam some clams and shake some snakes.
This is Zog from Anger Rot, and you're listening to Metal-O-Mania with Crypt and Scully.
Metal-O-Mania. Side effects may include a stiff neck, leaking genitals, and bitching neighbors. Fuck them.
Don't tell me which zone is for stopping and which zone is for loading.
Listen, Betty, don't start up with your white zone shit again.
Oh man, if I was older, I would totally start jacking off right now.
And that's how we open episode 244 of Metal-O-Mania. And not only is it a special kick-ass 244. Welcome back, Scully, by the way. How you doing, dear?
I'm great, thank you.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome back to the show. Excited to have you, but it's, many people who follow along with us may or may not realize this is our last Wednesday show. So there you go. The answer to the trivia question, what was the first song on the last Wednesday Metal-O-Mania show?
What was it?
Was Tymo. There you go. That was Tymo, by the way. Tymo. That song was Age of Deception from The Art of a Maniac. On February 5th, those Canadians released that third full-length release, and it's badass. Well, I knew I had Scully coming back tonight, so I had to get something, with that groove thrash thing going on, you know what I mean? Right. There you go. There you go.
That's what I like, so you got to give me what I like.
I get it. I try to give Scully what she likes around here, and you are my thrash girl, so there you go. And for those who are new to the show, what's funny, actually, I was about to say the show is early on thrashy, hardcore kind of stuff, and as it gets later it gets deathier, but
You don't know that now.
yeah,
You gotta play with the format a little, don't you?
we're in a state of influx. Yeah, in a state of influx. A state
So
of
the
flux.
problem
A state
is,
of
guys,
flux.
when it comes down to it, we're getting a little older. It's harder to give that many humps on hump day, and there are certain ones that are just mandatory. You can't give up.
Yeah, right.
So we had to,
Yeah, you can only have so many humps on your hump day. But no, honestly, I want to talk about this a little bit. We got songs coming up. By the way, we have great guests coming by tonight to help us celebrate our last Wednesday night show. We're going to be talking to Lawnmower Deth. They just put out Blunt Cutters. I'm excited to talk about that, and we're going to be talking to Sarcasm too. So I'm very excited about that too. Both.
You're actually excited about it, or like you're excited about it?
He's really excited about this. It's a huge package.
I'm excited about it. I'm ready to break things down. Well, they're going to celebrate our last Hump Day show, and I do want to talk about this change a little bit with you because it comes with great reluctance on my part, as many people behind the scenes around here know and realize.
Guys.
Starting next week, for those who don't know what the fuck we're talking about, starting next week, we will no longer do a one-time show on every Wednesday night. We're going to start doing Thursdays and Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're gonna
right. You're gonna split it up a little bit.
We're gonna break it down,
smaller pieces,
smaller doses.
Yeah. You're a lot to take at one time.
See, is that what
and
it is?
I've been telling you that for 20 years, and you just don't listen. So
take it all. I want you to take it all.
Some new guy came along and was like, "Hey, let me give you a couple pointers," and you're like eating it up. Like I haven't been saying this for
dude. Well, I am not good for change. Honestly, I was slow to go to the YouTube thing. I am my own worst enemy probably when it comes to the Metal-O-Mania show. Yeah. I was slow to move to YouTube because I didn't want to be censored, and I didn't want to, if I feel like putting a titty in there, I feel like putting a titty in there. I don't want somebody to tell me I can't put a fucking titty in there. But, right, it's a titty.
Sucking on my titties like you wanted me, calling me all the time.
But I just feel like I didn't want to be censored or tethered, so I was slow to move to that, which I have finally embraced, and it has helped us. I can't deny that.
You had to fight that fight.
But I fought that fight hard and lost eventually. And now I'm losing this fight, honestly. It only took 244 episodes. This is literally our 244th episode.
Well, see, you look at it as losing initially, but I think overall it's a win.
Hopefully.
It
that's
was
true.
A loss as far as YouTube because now you are an adult channel, and that takes you out of like the search engine basically, which is definitely a nuisance.
That's a second.
But it's a win in that you're an adult channel. Everybody that alone,
we can do whatever we want.
Attracts people, right? And,
I still don't think we could get away with straight up porn, but I think but we can push the boundaries now with that designation for sure.
Right.
Now, for some people who do not know what Scully is saying about as far as I've been saying for years, you need to make the show shorter, and then somebody comes along. We did. We were evaluated a little bit this week. We had a kind of a social media person look at our stuff and say that we have great content, we have great interviews, we keep the flow going nice. Really great things to say about the show, honestly. But
it's good.
But that old fucking mantra that seems to haunt me since we started the show is that the show is too long. Everybody tells me this. The Thralls of Metal guys have told me the show's too long. Scully has told me the show's too long. The Radio VPS family has told me that the show's too long. And honestly, I still don't understand it. I don't get it. I am relenting.
You don't need to understand it.
Well, I am relenting it. Without understanding it, I am relenting to it. Because I guess, is it era? That's my question. I want to start this conversation off with you. Is it an era thing? Because I grew up listening to guys like Howard Stern and the Grease Man, for those of you out there who may or may not know who that is. But they put on a 4 to 5 hour show Monday through Friday. And you listen to all of it, I guess, man. It was 25 hours a week you invested to these shows.
What were you doing while you were listening to something for 4 or 5 hours?
Often you were on a job site, or because those were back then. You didn't have like now. See,
you can't have that broadcasting in a job site. You just can't.
Can you not? I mean,
you definitely can't. I work in construction, and you cannot have.
You could get away with some shit. But people listen to Howard Stern on job sites. He says we're. No,
like you can't have music blasting. You can't have anything on. Like you're not allowed to. I guess in your headphones you could, which I guess more and more people do nowadays anyway. So like for that, I guess that kind of defeats that argument. You could. It doesn't need to be blasting for everybody to hear. It can be in your own ear, with your ear pods. So I don't know.
I thought that we would be that, honestly. I envisioned our show being more or less a job site show. I thought there would be a Thursday day hit. Everybody would be like, hey, there's a new Metal-O-Mania show from last night. Let's listen to it on the job site. I kind of had that on my mind because I grew up with that. That's what I grew up,
I see, right?
And it is tough for me to accept that
also
3 hours or 2.5 hours is too much.
Nobody's working right now.
Well, yeah, that's true. Well, honestly, that should feed into me, though, shouldn't it? I mean, if you're sitting around doing nothing, that should make the case for a show. Well, now, here's another. I've a couple points to make. One, people binge out on TV shows all the time. Okay, so the show you're watching is 42 minutes an episode, but if you watch 11 of them in a row,
which people do,
which you do all the time, right? So now
I don't know.
What is it? Where's the disconnect there?
They're
struggling.
different shows though, so there's a break in between or something.
We have breaks. We play a song. We come back to us. We throw in a little goofy stand-up comedy. I don't get it. It's tough
I don't know
for me.
why we're arguing about
I'm relenting. Well, you and me go back a bit with this conversation or argument, if you will. But I am relenting, despite I not understanding it because I don't. And especially back then, we would listen to 25 hours of the Greaseman or whatever, and you couldn't go on YouTube later and get it later. You had to go out of your way. You had to make an effort to hear it.
Hear it live.
To hear it live. Right. If you missed it live, you missed it.
Yeah.
You could catch these shows anytime. And, honestly, what it was, the media guy looked at our show. He said, one, your show's too long. Lots of great things again, but he said the show's too long. And then another very good friend of ours said, dude, I love your show, but I rarely catch the whole thing because your show's too long. And I guess eventually it's going to have to pound into my head. So here we go. This is our last too long show is tonight. Man. I'm going to give you all last one triumphant, deep pelvic pushing thrust as deeply into your ear holes as I possibly can. One last time. And then you're just going to get the tip going forward. That's all you fuckers deserve, apparently. So you get the tip. You get the tip from now.
Just the tips. Oh, we just the tips.
Well, and now I will say what there'll be is Tuesdays and Thursdays we'll do 6 packs of metal. It's going to be Mom's 6 packs of metal. I plan on playing 6 songs. We do 12 now, so we do 12 in one show, which is going to be 6 in each show. I still want to have interviews as often as possible, and we have several lined up for the next few weeks, so I don't think that'll be a problem. Instead of 2 stand-up comedy pieces, there'll be 1 per episode, so there'll be some shit reshuffling. We're going to have... But I am kind of left wondering what to do as far as we had a format. We went from, thrashy stuff to deathy stuff. Should we maybe do Tuesday's thrashy show and Thursday's a deathier show?
I've always kind of thought that anyway because, I don't
think about.
Want to hear the Doom stuff.
Right. Scully's not a Doom fan. So when we have a Doom band in, she's like, I'm going to. Everybody has their. Not everything's for everybody.
I don't want to hear the Doom stuff. And I'm not that into the death metal stuff. I don't want you,
Right. She's a thrashy and a hardcore girl, man. For sure. Yeah. You're very down the. Well, and for people who know and hang out with us, they know that your roots go all the way back to the hair stuff. I had to drag you out of the hair stuff, so
Well, yeah, it's just
kicking and screaming. Your ballad special that just won, for Valentine's Day just recently.
Re-aired it.
Re-aired that. That was a few years ago now, though. I will say you're a lot smoother on camera now than you were then. That was your first special.
Well, and that was scripted is the word I'm looking for. So
Scripted is tough.
I was trying to
we threw that idea away a long time ago.
Yeah, like that. It was good for that, what I was doing there, because I was trying to tell a story and I wanted to say specific things about the bands and stuff. But it's hard to just read it and, sound like you know what the fuck you're talking about and not fuck it up. But speaking of fucking it up, there's also a blooper reel that he put together that was a bit of a surprise that is goddamn hilarious.
Go watch her blooper reel, you guys. It's on the very end of her Valentine's ballad special. And it's on YouTube, and
so
I laugh every time I look at it.
Don't watch it with any kids around.
Yeah, she says fuck up more than a few times.
So it's definitely...
It's peppered with fuck, for sure. As your life should be, for that matter.
And I want to say, this little move looks so funny in the blooper reel, because what the fuck is she doing?
Well, for those,
but I was giving a visual signal for him during editing.
During editing,
we knew he was
right?
We're
starting
editing
here,
late at night,
right? Yeah. She was throwing me the visual clue that I'm starting here. That's why a lot of her blooper reels start with her hands doing all this.
Oh my god, it's so funny to watch.
But it plays so beautifully in the blooper reel. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Oh my god, it's so funny. All right, all-time metal ballads of all time. Fuck me, god damn it. Ah! blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. You've got enough of that. God damn it. Fuck. It's going to have to work. I just said, all right.
Very, very good shit. Well, so are you, what do you think? What are your thoughts? I mean, are you...
On what?
Exactly. There you go. Never mind.
That's the attention span people have.
You just made my case for why we have to make shorter shows, probably, didn't you, man? You know, and we're in a TikTok world. I'm still trying to do, long-term shows and a TikTok.
The recording, and I already forgot what the topic was.
I know, man. See,
so.
That's sadly accurate. That's the deal. And why is that, man? Is it the digital
right,
age?
You have to shorten the show.
yeah, that whole thing. That whole reshuffling announcement thing we just did there a minute ago. Oh, my Lord. Do you see what I'm with? Do you see what I'm living with, you guys?
Well, I try to give them the example. I am your every man.
You are today's mentality.
So.
You are today's example of mentality when it comes to attention span. It's just, all right. I mean, obviously, I relent.
I love you. Nobody loves you more than me. And wants to support you more than I do. So.
I get it, I guess. Well, we're losing things with that, man. We are losing things.
I know, but
that mentality it costs us shut. I think it's directly tied to the fact that, like, you and I can order. We'd ordered that pizza recently. The whole pizza fiasco. Scully and I recently ordered. We had people over for football. We ordered $163 worth of food.
It wasn't
right?
that much, but
no, it was. It was like $160 worth of food. I'm not kidding. But the guy shows up with a pizza. That's it. He showed up with a pizza in his hand, and you and I used to deliver food and shit we met at a pizza place. For me, the disconnect that it takes to not realize that I am not holding $163 worth of food in my hand, it's tough for me to accept, man. It is. It's tough for me to grasp that.
He's like, oh, that's all they gave me. And I'm like, yeah, but
come on, man.
You know how much the order is.
Right.
You get, as a driver, you get like a percentage of the order, I would assume, right? Like how it used to be back in the day.
You would think you'd be on it.
So you're like, cha-ching, this is a fucking huge order for the day, and then they hand you like a box of pizza and maybe like a thing of wings or something. I forget even what we got, but it was.
Oh yeah, it was ridiculous.
It was a joke.
It was a joke.
As the guy handed it to me.
I don't understand how you can, as a human being, hand me that and say, "Yeah, here, now give me $163," because this is clearly $163 worth of food. That's crazy to me.
I was like, "Is there more in your car?"
Well, see, yeah, right. When did you leave? He's like, "I don't know," and he just looked lost. And that's the disconnect, though. Do you remember those in school? We used to have those tests. I've heard tests are very different these days, but remember they used to have those contextualized
Kids
tests.
don't even go to school. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. You're not wrong.
No, yeah.
Remember it used to be, though, the questions in particular would be like, a silkworm is to silk as a bee is to blank. You know what I mean? Do you know what I'm talking about?
How many people know the answer and how many people are stunned right now?
Yeah, right. Do you know the answer to that little stupid thing I just threw at you out of the top of my head? Because honestly, I think that's the disconnect. We need to get
you think today's
back
generation
to that.
Wouldn't know honey?
I do, man. I wonder if they struggle with that.
If you were like honey,
I think the connection to bigger pictures
in society.
I believe that today's society has lost the forest through the trees. I really do.
Maybe.
We are so stuck on the tree that we've lost the sight of the entirety of the forest. I do believe that, man. And we no longer make connections where connections need to be made. And the man, you're navigating through the world where that's helpful to make connections. I mean,
they're good at other things, right?
I don't know. Who knows? No, apparently we're not even fucking anymore. Not you and I are, but apparently.
Is that a thing?
Yes. Fucking is apparently historic levels down. Apparently, I swear to God, I was just reading this today.
Is that
millennials
because the lack
and young
of social
people
interaction with each other?
Yes.
Wow.
Social interacting is down. More leaning on pornography to self pleasure is up higher than ever.
And like you can buy devices and things now so easily, like
for man and female.
Vaginas. And,
no longer are the days when women had a chest drawer full of shit and men just had like a pocket pussy. No, ladies and gentlemen.
Men
we
can
have
a full-on
you can bring your own chest as well. You can fuck lots of things, people. And we've never dropped the ball.
I don't know I'm not educated enough to even comment about any of that.
Well, human beings, man, I tell you, we got ways to kill each other and ways to fuck each other. If there's an advancement to be made, those will be the ways.
Well, now
that will
it's not fuck
lead
each other anymore. Now it's just fuck ourselves.
Yeah, self-fucking. Self-reflecting has
When
been
you have to
replaced
bunker
with-
down in your hideaway by yourself, you still need to be able to fuck.
Hey, it's still a stress reliever. I'll believe that till I die, man. Yeah. You know, I know that you're nasty if you go all without. I know. You know, people are nasty. That's like a fucking button you need
That's why
pushed.
places get shot up. I fucking guarantee it.
Oh, you're right.
I don't know. I haven't done all the research on that, but I
Yeah,
guarantee it.
there's a correlation.
Yeah.
I forget what comedian it was actually that did a bit on that. There's a definite correlation between people who don't fuck and people who do violent things, man. If you look at like sects or cults or religious things or whatever that are real big on, you know, oppressing the fuck button, those motherfuckers are all about hitting the detonate button.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
That's not good.
There is a connection there, ladies and gentlemen. Make no mistake. All right, well, you want to play a couple of songs for everybody? And
That's why prostitution should be legal.
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%.
It should be a
1,000%.
service that you can get just like ordering a pizza.
It really is, man. You're doing the service for the rest of us. See, that's what we need to understand as a society, too. That piece of ass being delivered to that guy down the street's house is not just doing him a service. It's doing his community a
Saving
service.
lives.
That's right. You're saving lives.
Goddamn
You're
hero.
doing God's work with that ass, ladies and gentlemen. There you go.
All right.
Fuck it.
What do you got next?
Well, I was going to get into a little customer service fiasco shit, but honestly, on the heels of our change up and things that we feel in such a state of kind of flux right now and the changing of the format that I think we got a little long-winded there. So let's play some music.
You already said enough.
Yeah, let's play 3 songs instead of me talking to you about the whole giant fiasco and the whole horror merch fiasco and I'm on a string of bad luck with customers. I'm just going to say that. We may touch on it.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, but let's play some music. Here we go. I got 3 songs for everybody, and we're going to open it up with some Granite Wolf, man. Granite Wolf is a Guernsey band for fans of beer, riffs, rum, partying, more riffs, whiskey, riffs, and a goddamn good time. And did I mention riffs?
And riffs.
That's right, brother. And the album release is called Vanta Skies, and we're going to play El Toro from it tonight for you, and you're going to thank me later. Behind that, we'll play some Inhuman Nature. Inhuman Nature, Under the Boot, is the name of their release, out on February 11th. It's a brand new EP from these UK badasses. And Under the Boot is the song and the name of the EP, by the way, that we're going to play for you.
All right.
So enjoy it. Touch a crossover in there. You're going to like these cats.
Crossover.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, and yes, I do. And we're going to celebrate that a little bit too, man. Don't forget, we got Lawnmower Deth coming by in a little bit. And then we're going to play some Silas. We're going to play Silas for you. Some Southern UK groove metal that, man, you all know. That groove metal shit, man, that shit in the vein of like Pantera type of stuff. This is more of it, man. Black Lung is the song we're going to play from Eat Them Alive. Southern UK groove metal. A monster EP is out for you now, so get it.
Okay.
Want to play it?
Yeah, of course.
3-pack of jams in your ass on the last long version of Metal-O-Mania that you got to take all in one piece. So open up. Here you are.
What is it gonna be?
Let's have a BJ and a finger in the butt.
Sure. Let me get my lipstick.
All right.
The
looks in the abyss, there's nothing staring back at him. At that moment, a man finds his character. And that is what keeps him out of the abyss.
If you want a vision of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever.
It's okay. Water under bridge. Like typhoon that took grandfather.
Oh, fuck.
If anybody has black parts, I need them, okay? I only work in black. And sometimes very, very dark gray.
The don't you know who I am? I'm Big Dick Black. I've done more porno movies than you ever saw.
3 killer songs to keep the show going on the last extended version of Metal-O-Mania. The last big long stroke at you.
Yeah, I'm out of breath.
There you go. You're already out of breath.
A lot.
I can see you're heaving in your. I love your Crypt shirt, by the way. That's a badass fucking Crypt shirt.
I love this shirt. I love the colors in this shirt. I love everything about it. Honestly,
We are in talks with them actually, so hopefully we get them on the show. Keep your fingers crossed. We haven't locked it in yet, so I can't announce it or anything, but we're trying to make it happen. So. That's cool. Big fan of Crypt.
Either way, support the band.
Support,
guys.
yeah, fuck yeah.
You
And
like
that's
my shirt. It's a pretty cool shirt. You got a pretty cool shirt.
Man. We just played these guys on the show a couple of weeks ago. In fact, Ghost Keeper, man, pretty killer band, man. Thrashy badassery, fucking digging them.
Support the band.
Maybe we'll get these guys on
buy
the show
some
too.
merch.
Yeah. Man.
Buy some merch.
I have an addiction to buying merch, so yeah, buy merch. I just got my Capper shirt in, so fuck yeah, man.
You might need some more hats.
I do need hats.
Your collection of hats is getting a little.
Well, and we have animals here, so they get covered in hair eventually, and then there's that whole thing.
You got to do the lint brush thing on them.
Everything.
You're kind of lazy with that.
Everything in the fucking house needs a lint brush. I got to lint brush my dick before we can make love. Anyhow, so we were talking a little bit about that crazy shit. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I know you were just introducing people to Andrew Dice Clay. I think that's funny.
I was not introducing people. A coworker was, and I know who he is, so I was chiming in.
Jack and Jill went up the hill, both with $1.25. Jill came down with $2.50. Oh! That fucking whore.
I think he's obnoxious.
I love Andrew Dice Clay. If you're a fan of stand-up comedy, by the way, speaking of that, go to the archives. We did a special.
It's hilarious.
On stand-up comedy.
It's so good, so well put together.
We had a lot of fun with that.
Little clips and pieces of funny things throughout. It's really good.
Yeah, there's a lot of stand-up pieces in there, and that makes it fun, I think.
I order the club sandwich all the time, and I'm not even a member, man. I don't know how I get away with it. I like my sandwiches with 3 pieces of bread. So do I. Well, let's form a club. Okay, but we need some more stipulations. Yes, we do. Instead of cutting the sandwich once, let's cut it again. Hell yeah, 4 triangles. We'll position them into a circle. And in the middle, we will dump chips. Or potato salad. Cool, I can deal with that. Let me ask you a question. How you feel about frilly toothpicks? I'm for them. Well, this club is formed then. I like to take a toothpick and throw it in the forest and say, you're home.
So, from Red Fox to George Carlin to Richard Pryor to
You'll
lots
get to
of cool
laugh and
comedians.
stuff in between listening to Crypt talk.
Talk about my ding dong. It's me talking about my ding dong and a whole bunch
That's
of no.
why the episodes have to be shortened because if we get it down to just music, he can't talk about his.
And we can talk about his cock less. Yeah, there you go. No, we had really good guests for that though. Like Blake from Pig Destroyer was there. Brian.
Yeah, the
from
comedy
Action.
show. Yeah,
that was good.
absolutely. Yeah, that was great.
Good stuff. Well, this isn't a comedy show, but somebody sent me this story, so I had to mention it. You're funny looking. The Dutch, did you see that Jeff Bezos had a yacht built? And apparently for it to be taken out of the area where that was built, it was so exorbitant and so over the top that they had to take apart a historic bridge.
Historic bridge. So I heard that the historic, he wanted to take the historic bridge apart, but I didn't realize, I was just thinking to myself, well, why do you need to go there? Like, just stay the fuck out of there. But I didn't realize it was because the boat had to be removed from there.
It was built behind enemy lines. Is that no? It was built behind bridge lines.
Why in the fuck
I guess.
Did nobody figure that out?
Dude,
nobody
right?
realized.
I just said in the first break, there's no, when silkworm is the silk. This happens in a world where that disconnect has happened. Man.
So bad.
Well, and there's a highlight to the story.
Is the bridge being put back together?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
But the highlight to the story is that somebody started a Facebook campaign to line up there as the boat was going through to egg the boat. So, yes.
Oh my God.
A whole bunch of people showed up to egg Jeff Bezos' fucking boat. Fuck
that
you.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
So his brand new amazing boat got egged
like
by
crazy.
what, thousands of people?
I need to.
I hope so.
I need to follow up. I hope there's video.
I hope there's
we'll
thousands
find some video
of
on it or
eggs.
something.
I hope it's not just like a couple hundred.
Yeah,
I
dude.
hope it's like
I hope that
1,000.
motherfucker smells like. I hope it was a fucking hottest day of the the winter time. I hope it smells like eggs forever. I hope every time you got a 23-year-old model on the anyhow.
So fucking funny.
Yeah, man. People do send us some
What
goofy
a
stories.
douchebag.
What a douchebag, right? What a fucking douche.
He's just got so much money.
What a
that
fucking
he can just
douche.
fucking...
You could save Detroit, man. I'm not saying you have to, but I'm saying you could.
Right.
And why not? Wouldn't you? Where's the real life Batman? We've said this before, but where in the fuck? There are people out there with Batman money now.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Oh,
there really
yeah.
are.
Yeah.
And I don't even mean go put on a suit and go get shot at. I mean, be a hero, motherfucker. Yeah,
do
dude.
something good
They'll build
for-
statues to you forever if you are the guy that brings
There are good
drinking
people
water
in
to
the
Flint,
world.
Michigan.
There
You know
are
what I
good
mean?
people. Like the
Fuck.
Dolly Parton we just heard about recently.
Yeah, Dolly Parton, right. Yeah,
She
she's a cool...
is offering to educate whoever wants to that works for her.
Anybody
like,
who works for a
whatever.
company can go free
You want-
ride. Books the whole thing, man. To
She'll pay
any
for it.
degree that, and it's even if it's a degree in something that has nothing to do with
Right,
working
if
for her.
You don't want to stay there. You're
Yeah.
just like an intern or something.
Take your degree and go with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's still down. That's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Right. She might not be a metal chick.
She's
but
like,
she's a cool
holy
chick."
fuck, the world is stupid. We need to try to educate some people. Let me try
Right.
to, you know.
And test number 1: a silkworm is anyhow. Yeah. Right.
Oh my god.
For real, man. You're not wrong. You're not
That's
wrong.
cool. But my point was, there are good people. Like maybe this guy's a douchebag, but there are
Yeah,
good people.
there are good
doing
ones.
good things.
Hopefully.
I believe that Betty White.
Keanu
used to
Reeves
do
is a
really
good motherfucker.
things
He's a
with her
cool dude.
money,
Yeah,
so.
me too. Me too. Someone told us that someone knows this cat apparently, but this dude in North Carolina got played. You know, how you get the fortune cookies out of your food, and it's always got the winning numbers on the bottom. Well, this dude played them. $4 million.
Whoa.
$4 million. $4 million. Does anyone ever play those? I don't think I've ever gotten my fortune cookie and played the fucking numbers that are on there, man, ever. Well, god damn it. Maybe we should.
Apparently you should be.
Confucius say, stupid motherfucker with no lottery tickets win no money. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Wow.
Fuck
$4
yeah,
million.
man. And Charlotte, North Carolina, $4 million.
Oh.
Yeah, played the numbers after his restaurant. You played it on the Mega Millions jackpot. $4 million. Boom. Nicely done, sir. More power to you. More power to you.
Did he go back to the restaurant and tip them very well?
That's not in the story, but I would certainly hope so. We would be those guys. You know, in fact, that's a thing we're going to talk about in an upcoming episode is tipping. That's actually on our brainstorming list of a conversation we're going to have, but not tonight. We got too much. But we are going to cover tipping. We're going to win, where, you know, I know people that are very anti-tipping. We're going to open that can of shit at some
I
point
think
or another.
some things are bullshit that we have to tip for. But
Right. That's exactly the
some
things I want
should
to
be tipped for. But
talk about,
whatever.
actually.
Yeah, let's get into that.
And some things, there's entire industries that they put it on you, the consumer, to tip to pay their employee. I mean,
the employees should just get a fucking fair wage.
there's a whole thing.
But okay.
Again, that's a future episode. So hang out. If you have ideas, send them now, and we'll bring your ideas up on that episode.
Okay.
But I do want to actually recruit. Speaking of reaching out to recruit people, we're going to bring in Lawnmower Deth here in just a minute. We're going to talk to Pete. But I want to start fishing now for some of your ideas on some of the things that we have. You know, if you get into our archives, I just mentioned that we did the stand-up comedy special. We have a special where we did comic book villains, a countdown, with me and Kyle from Invicta and my buddy Justin from the Scoop. We did the sci-fi special, which was Scully joined us for that one. Scully and the guys from Thralls of Metal. We did the sci-fi special. You and I and the Casket Robbery guys did the horror movie special, pre-1995 horror. We really kind of enjoy doing those, man. They're kind of countdown specials. We break down clips from everything, you know. And I have some ideas for a few, and I want to reach out for some people to get ideas that you would like us to do. Like, in the coming weeks and, well, months, they take a while. They're a lot of work. So we're going to do them slowly. But I would like, you know, see, these are some of the ideas you guys have sent, and I want to fish for more of them. I would like to maybe do one on most brutal death scenes in a movie. What do you think of that?
Oh.
These are the ideas that I got that are brainstormed on our list here. Me and Henry talked about a lot of this stuff while you were out last week, and I had Henry come in from Pursuit. We went over a lot of the stuff on some of the lists that we've been growing. But we're going to do one on maybe best death scenes in a movie. What about best porn stars ever? The greatest porn stars, only on Metal-O-Mania will you get that countdown. Am I wrong?
Okay.
Do you have a favorite porn star?
No. I don't know their names.
Moving on. Inspirational albums. I'm definitely going to have Henry come in, and maybe we'll get Brandon from Cruel Bomb. Matter of
I don't
fact,
know that I've ever watched like a second movie from a porn. Like, you know,
oh, really?
Same.
Yeah.
Like,
I want that. You know, that's an interesting
get that
conversation to
info
have with
on
some of you out there.
huges nowadays. It's not like, you're
Right.
searching by like a porn.
There are two class of porn watchers. There are the, and you watch porn and you're not, adverse to watching it.
No, yeah. I'm
But there are people that get into it and know the people's names and, a little bit of background. And there are people that are like, yeah, I watched it. I'm done. Boom, boom, moving on.
Oh, they're people?
Yeah, right.
Like,
right. Yeah. Hey, I'm so glad you say that because we're going to talk. That's my conversation for later in the show. The last break in the show is it still okay to objectify things that are completely 100% meant to be objectified? We're going to talk about that later in the show because we've entered into the matrix in the world now.
Oh my God.
Where anything you say about sexualized or whatever and all that, it's crazy, man. But we're going to talk about that. You perfectly set up a conversation for later there.
Okay.
Without knowing it. But again, we got the anthology special. I just would like to recruit some of you guys to both, one, go into their archives and watch some of the specials we've done, but give us some ideas on some specials you'd like to see. Would you like to see us do a countdown on best porn stars ever? Would you like to see us do a countdown on, me and Henry talked about doing inspirational albums, perhaps, horror/comedy movies, which we would have to do with the casket robbery guys. But, favorite album covers of all time is one. We're going to talk to the Thralls of Metal guys, maybe even. That's one that's moving kind of closer to maybe fruition, is best heavy metal themed movies that are heavy metal related, heavy metal themed movies. So I know that Nick and John from Thralls and I are already in talks about that one, but I'd like to know what your thoughts are on that.
I don't have many. I don't think I could name.
Yeah, well, I'd name a porn star. Can you name one? Just one. Can you name one porn star for me? Give me one.
I mean, a long time ago, back in, before the internet ruined everybody's brains.
Oh, okay.
I guess,
Okay. Yeah. See, this is why I have to shorten the show. Exactly. You're right.
I did like Chasey Lane. I don't know.
Oh my God.
She's
Remember,
probably retired by now, honestly.
I forget what band. Some band did a ballad to Chasey Lane or something.
Really?
Yeah. She hasn't been in the business for a long time.
I'd say she's retired, I'm sure.
Jesus, she just showed her age with that shit.
Sure, I'm 40 now. So.
Well, I liked it when they did the color, when they changed them from the black and whites.
You asked me to name a name. That's the only name that I probably.
No, I'm down with it. I'm down with it. And it's funny because that is a paradigm between the two of us.
Like VHS. Like I really honestly think that was before.
That's funny. Yeah, you're right. I believe you're right. We had VHS tapes of That's how long you and I've been together. We used to watch porn on VHS, by the way. But I do know their names. I could very easily do the
like
list.
the back room. Like you go into the liquor store and you can go in the back room where like the porn is.
They
and
hid
it's
the
like
porn.
me and all like the fucking 56-year-olds.
Yeah, right.
I mean, this is fast rewind. Fucking 20
when
years
you were
ago
like
is what
20.
I'm talking about,
Yeah,
right.
right. That's too
People would be
fucking
like,
funny,
what
dude.
the fuck is this chick doing?
What a different, there's so many things like that that are gone without notice. You don't that's no longer a thing. You as a young girl are never ever. There's no 22-year-old girl out there right now skimming the porn aisle next to 7 50-year-old dudes.
Well, because
like you have done. That's done.
It's all on
that's
the
over.
internet now.
Right.
Everybody's just doing that in the privacy of their own home.
Right. That's over. These are the weird little things that. Now, granted, nobody's gonna miss that. It's not like. Nobody's writing a fucking ballad to the missed
Well, and
days.
if you didn't even know, if you weren't aware of the room, you didn't even know it existed.
Right,
that's just
that's
like
right.
an
It was
employee
meant
in
to be
the
that,
back.
right.
You didn't know.
You had to go in and be like,
The first time you ever took me back to one of those rooms, I had no idea what was back there.
Where's the back room, brother?
Yeah.
Where do you keep the adult films? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, when I was young, me and my buddy Jeff Perks, shout out to Jeff Perks. I just put your name out there. I hope we're good. Well, he's given me permission in the past, so I'll go with it. I'll extend that permission. But we were young, and we used to joke about how the worst part about watching porn when at that age was you were afraid your parents would hear it. So we were all, before our time with the audio, video bullshit.
Right.
But we would hook up our VCR to our DVD player. We would
Not DVD
dub.
player.
No, yeah, excuse me, not a DVD player at all. A cassette tape player. Yeah, excuse me, you're totally right. But we would record our cassette audio onto a VHS over a dubbed copy of the porn we had gotten from like the local video store.
Right.
So it would be like fucking, 80s fucking with, DRI music playing. So it would sound like you're in your room just listening to DRI, and your parents never wanted to fuck you with you when you were playing DRI, so you could sit in there and jack it, and it was a whole thing.
So
anyway.
fucking funny.
Anyhow, speaking of toys, there you go.
That's funny.
Funny stuff, right?
Yeah, hilarious.
Don't you miss perusing the porn aisles with the old guys? Do you miss that? Did we lose something in that transaction?
I think we're all right with that one.
We'll be all right.
Some things you lose without even noticing it.
Yeah,
It's
right.
okay.
Well, and to think now people get stressed at the idea of going to like a 7-Eleven.
Just
Fuck,
getting
you
your
would
milk,
right to get
you know,
milk,
next to
right?
somebody.
You were like, "Fuck that, I'm braving the shit." Anyhow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I have an idea for some other shows and shit. Maybe I'll talk about that. Let's bring in Lawnmower Deth and talk to them, and then we'll talk about this on the other side of that, because I do have an idea, a pretty extensive idea for some specials I would very much like to do, but I would need your help. So
I was gonna say we should just talk about those off air. Why are we telling?
well, no, I wanted your help. I want to reach out to our listeners to help us make it
you need
happen.
input.
You know, I'll just, before I go to these, to bring in Lawnmower Deth and bring in Pete and talk to the Lawnmower Deth here, I just will drop this nugget in your ear and then we'll talk about it a little bit. Do you remember Lewis Black used to have a show on Comedy Central called The Root of All Evil, where it was a fake court case show every week? They did kind of like, you know, shitty pants, let's make a case for him and against him kind of thing. And they would do basically comedy shit.
No.
Yeah, why am I asking you?
I don't know.
You don't remember anything unless it just happened in your face. And even that, you're not, like my oblivion. There you go. There.
Oh my God! Talking about attention
spans. There you go. And on that, let's bring in my buddy Pete from Lawnmower
It's not even
Deth.
shiny. It's not. So it's not even like oh, it's something shiny.
Hush yourself. Blunt Cutters has just been released. We're going to play Raise Your Snails, which is a badass song and released from these guys, man. I'm very excited to talk to my man Pete. UK Badassery. They're back after many, many years off, but I'm not going to tell you about it. Let's let him.
Okay.
Here you go.
And now for something completely different.
Well, hey there, Metal-O-Maniacs. Welcome back to the show, and welcome joining us right now. I'm very excited about this. My new friend Peter, all the way from the UK. How are you, sir? How are you doing today?
I am fine and well, and be very happy to be talking to you guys over there. Come on, let's do it.
You are making my day, my friend. Our Metal-O-Maniacs out there are pretty well versed, so all of them know who you are already, especially since I've been telling them you're coming on the show. But for those who do not, introduce yourself, my brother.
I'm Pete, as you rightfully said, a very bad singer in Lawnmower Deth. So good old UK hardcore, punk, thrash, crossover, noise, whatever you want to call us, is good by us. But that's me. I'm a really lame-ass singer in a rock and roll band.
I completely disagree with the labeling, my friend, because I'm a huge fan of what you guys do. And, you know, I go back, I remember the original run. I remember, you know, I'm an old fella myself a little bit, so I go back a little bit with this metal crazy thing. As the Metal-O-Mania thing has grown, we get all these announcements for all these releases that come out every week. And every week there's a million black metal, there's a million doom metal, there's a million death metal. I feel the crossover genre is somewhat starved during this big resurgence we're having right now for metal. Where is all the crossover, sir?
Do you know, I don't know the answer to that. I'm delighted you're classing us as a crossover band, because that's exactly where we see it as well. You know, we seem to be different things to different people in different countries. You know, the Europeans just think we're an out-and-out punk band, and, you know, the British think we're a metal band, and you guys see us as a crossover band, which is how we always thought it was. But I think all the contemporaries we came up with in that kind of genre, and, you know, I don't know, Wehrmacht or
DRI.
You know, DRI for sure. And,
right.
You know, all those books. I don't know, you know, it just doesn't seem to be around at the moment, which is probably like, you know, why we're kind of more in with the metal crowd over here and stuff like that, I guess, because that's stuff in there. But there's some stuff starting to come through. I mean, Nick Barker's got a new band over here. I don't know whether he's starting to show over there, but a band called Borstal. It's really great kind of New York sounding crossover, but, you know, out of the UK, and, you know, Nick's played with everybody, hasn't he? But you know, there's stuff bubbling around, but there isn't really a sort of crossover scene as such over here.
Or anywhere. You know, there's an emergence right now in Russia. There's a great scene of death metal and black metal, and even a hair metal scene. There seems to be like a glam metal.
Wow, come on.
Right?
There's a thing. Really?
Which is crazy. In Russia, yeah, they're like doing like the Motley Crue thing over there right now, like it's brand new. And,
okay, finger on the pulse.
Yeah, right. And then Germany and all these places have such emerging, you know, and in the tradition of that, a lot of bands, and if you don't mind my noticing, Lawnmower Deth being one of them, that has kind of, you know, had a run back in the day and has reemerged in this reemergence that we are enjoying right now.
Yeah.
And that being said, though, again, you know, all these things are kind of popping up worldwide, and I just feel like this genre is still starving. And I'm with you, though. I'm not understanding why.
Over here, we've got not an emergence of crossover stuff, but there's certainly an emergence of thrash stuff coming through. So there's a lot of good UK thrash around. I mean, Heval fronting that up big time, and Ollie Drake leading that from the front. But other good bands coming through. There seems to be a bit of a buzz in that kind of arena. So good, some new blood about and stuff. It's not just reliant on old boys getting back together like we are at the moment.
Well, hang out with us, man. I won't let you miss any on the metal front. I promise you that.
Glad to hear that. I'm taking note right now.
Fuck yeah, hang out. That's our whole weekly motto around here, man. We want to make sure that people, well, speaking of which, we've talked to some great thrash bands that, you mentioned. We just had Heval on the show a couple of weeks ago. We talked to Shrapnel, which is another great thrash band out of
there. You go. There's another of them. Yeah.
On a musical level, I believe our thing to be strong as ever. I honestly do. I believe it to be as strong as it was in our heyday back in the 80s on the musical level right now.
Yeah.
In the product. So now what we're lacking is getting out there on stages and getting our fucking thing back together,
I think that's what it's what everybody needs. I think we're all the same, aren't we? How many shows did either we play last year, or how many shows as a fan did I go to? And it's sitting on that many fingers on both sides, And so I think we've been really starved. But I mean, I guess the one that was interesting for me was we headlined one of the stages at Bloodstock in the summer, and we weren't due to be playing Bloodstock, but Night Flight Orchestra got themselves positive and had to bail, and we dived into to get them covered, which was great, and it was good to go back there. But the attitude to the audience was really different. They know us, we're old hands, we've been around for a long time, and they're always going to get a show out of us, and everybody was going to show up. But what was happening was bands that were probably 8, 9, 10 bands down the bill, could have been playing at 2:00 in the afternoon and stuff like that, we're playing to big crowds because people they've been that's got to be good for the grassroots stuff. These stages were packed. Yeah. So, it could be like the Shrapnels of this world, those guys and stuff, who might have played to a couple of hundred kids. Suddenly, there's 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people in front of them, and that can only be good, really. So, So I think that was an interesting thing. I hope that kind of thing carries on a bit, that, people are going to get in on this grassroots stuff a bit more now and be a bit more supportive of the less than obvious shows coming around, and just because people are so ready to get out and have a beer and a dance. I think the only show I went to, aside from the couple of bits we played, because there was nothing to get to, I went to see Eagles of Death Metal about 2 months ago. I never have been more excited to go to a gig since I was that big. And I was like a kid. It was just the perfect gig to go to as well, because it's the Eagles, isn't it? It was just, good night out, couple of beers, really great dancing band. And it was just the perfect way to go back in.
I can't wait. I've targeted like the Maryland Death Fest and some of those shows to where I'm going to feel back.
Okay.
Again. So yeah,
that always looks great.
Take me back a bit to the teenage you when you were like, hey man, let's do this crazy metal thing and let's progress a little.
So why did we do it? Okay. So the three of us were school friends, high school in your terminology. So we were high school friends, three of us, and we were typical metal kids. You find each other because of the music you're into. And at that point,
it's a calling card.
Yeah. They're wearing a t-shirt. It's that kind of thing, and then it kind of draws you in like a magnet because of what was available then. We were Saxon, we were Motorhead, early Saxon, that kind of stuff.
Love it all.
And that's where we were. And there was a radio show called the Friday Rock Show. It was on national radio. Kids were going out on a Friday night and going to youth clubs or starting to get into pubs underage and that kind of stuff. We were staying in and listening to the Friday Rock Show and listening to bands in session. We were proper geeky metal fans. And then very quickly we were going to sort of early shows, and we were the kids who stood at the backstage door and had the program and got the bands to sign it and waited for a photograph and all those kind of things. That's who we were. So we were just like, totally into this stuff. The shift change came in a number of different ways, I guess. But the first shift change was Venom, and black metal came in. And so I'm 16 years old. And I even remember it. We were in sort of top end of high school, and so we had a recreation room, and that got a record player in it. And we used to get a little thin blue line around this record player and hijack it and put on whatever we wanted. And somebody brought black metal in, and it was, what the fuck is that? It had suddenly gone from Wheels of Steel to jackhammers. And nobody could even comprehend this was music. But that was suddenly shift change beyond belief. And quickly from there, it was Bonded by Blood. And so these really early, Haunting the Chapel EP, all that kind of stuff was getting over here quick. And we were straight into this stuff. And we suddenly went from being kind of heavy metal kids to possibly being into a little bit heavy stuff like Tank or Motorhead and stuff like that. But really quickly into, the early thrash and stuff like that. And that was the point when, look, if you can be Venom, and you can headline Hammersmith Odeon and have loads of fireworks and blow the shit out of the place, we're going to have some of that. Anybody could do this was kind of the line of thinking. It was the true punk DIY ethic, do-it-yourself stuff, wasn't it? So that's when we wanted to be in a band. Now, we hadn't got the ability, we weren't musical or any of that, but we knew we wanted to do it. So that's kind of what started us. After that, it became like-minded friends. We met our drummer who'd got the idea for Lawnmower. Eventually, we met Paddy who joined on guitar, and we got a lineup, and we started doing what we did and quickly got signed, and that pushed us to Earache, and then I guess that got us out to a wider audience, and away it went. But that's why we got into it. We came through, I guess in the way pretty much most of us got into metal was the way we came. And I guess then the other shift change, the other gear change for me was when the US hardcore stuff started coming over here. And myself and the drummer in particular really sort of got into that. So I mean, Black Flag got over here pretty quickly, and early Bad Religion. I was getting introduced stuff like that.
Yeah,
really
great
got
shirt.
into California scene, but got into sort of DI and that kind of stuff coming over really kind of got us interested. And that seemed to come over in tandem with things like the grindcore scene that we're involved in over here, because of the label we were on, really. We probably had a lot of affinity with Napalm and still friends with the Bolt Thrower guys and so on. All this stuff kind of ended up in a big melting pot, I guess, because it's formative years, isn't it? You're 18 years old, 19 years old. And suddenly all these influences, they're coming in from everywhere. So that's kind of what happened for us, really. It became this big mess of US punk and early thrash and the German scene and the US scene and early heavy metal and all that stuff, and just chuck it into a cauldron, mix it up, you end up with Lawnmower Deth, really.
Fuck yeah. So
that was possibly the longest answer to why are you in a band. Sorry about that.
No, I love it, dude. I honestly, I'm eating up every word, brother. I'm along for the ride, and I appreciate it. Let's be honest, for cats in our age group, you're describing such a universal metal experience, man. The first time I was ever, a friend of mine brought over a Venom record and we played it, I felt like I had to lock the door and hide it from my parents. It's the first record I ever listened to, and I felt like, man, I'm doing something wrong right now by listening.
Yeah. I mean, one minute you sort of sat there and your parents are probably tolerating Leonard Skinner or something like that. The next minute, black metal, and it's like, you're going to hate me, and they probably did.
Yeah. I need my headphones for this.
Yeah. It's but that was sea change. You haven't seen that kind of thing in a long time.
Right.
But suddenly that wasn't there. That is there. It must have been the same on the US side, because we were in touch with all you guys over there. But that whole tape trading scene.
Oh yeah,
was,
huge.
It was bragworthy and it was massive. You got so excited because you got an SOD or a Crumbsuckers rehearsal or something like that, and I'm sure it was more disappointing over there if you got one of ours. But that stuff was really introducing it, and there were big networks over here of people with lists, and you were tapping into that, and it was an amazing time, really.
I tell people all the time, this whole Napster and this whole streaming and stealing music off the internet thing, it predates the internet, buddy, by years.
Of course
I remember I had a friend who had a big boombox with 4 cassette players in the one boombox. You could play it in one and record it in the other 3 at the same time, man. And
no, that's what happened, wasn't it? And what did you do with your first demo? When we made a first demo, we all sat there with home hi-fis and just going, records.
Well,
and
yeah, that sounds good.
Degrading quality all the way through when you suddenly shift 2,000 demos. You know, it sounded shit anyway, but it must have sounded really shit by the time you got copy number 2,000.
Shit songs with shit recordings, but we loved it.
amazing times. It was so organic. It was brilliant. You know, flyers, fanzines, the whole thing was joyous, really, at the time.
Oh, yeah, so much so, man. A joy I retain. There's very few joys I've retained from my youth that I still walk around with in my back pockets to this day, and metal is one of them, thankfully. You know, and I think
if you join the family, you don't leave it, do you? That's the difference.
Right. Well, you know, that's a whole long story for another show that we might need Dr. Phil for. But did that play a role, honestly? Did that play a role for you, I guess, in your return? Because circling back around to the record finally, I guess, Blunt Cutters having just recently come out as the first original Lawnmower Deth music in quite some time. How does that feel? How was that, you know, was your love?
In about 29 years, I think.
Right.
This band is on a prolific output, isn't it? 2 albums in 29 years.
Billy was 1994, brother. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, there have been little bits come out. Yeah, we've, we did a Christmas single with Kim Wilde. You know, small things like that. You know, the good stories and stuff like that. But yeah, this is the first time that we've put something out in a very long time. It feels good. It sounds. I've got to say, I'm not one for listening to my own back catalogue. You know, I don't tend to go back to the stuff we've done, other than when I'm rehearsing along to it, stuff like that. But this album is something I'm fairly damn proud of, actually, and you can actually listen to it. And I'm really pleased. I'm going to be really interested to see how people react to this.
Oh well, I have fallen in love with it. I have completely fallen in love with it already, man. We played Death, Maim, Kill when it was first put on YouTube. We played that on our show. And in fact, tonight we're going to play Raise Your Snails, the official video for Raise Your Snails with this interview we'll play for everybody tonight, which I'm excited for.
But you should teach people to raise a snail. Do you know how to raise a snail? Because you guys raising a snail is easy, man. There's your horns. We all know the horns. We all know your fist when you're in the crowd. Okay, take your horns, take your fist. Raise your snails.
Raise your snails.
Yeah, you got an upside down snail.
I've been accused of that more than once, my friend.
Fist on the top. Fist on the top. Oh. Now you've got it. There you go. Now you've got a snail.
I've been accused of having an upside down snail more than a few times, my friend. You're not the first.
Well played.
I'm a guy that is a metalhead with very much punk roots. I had a mohawk, the whole thing when I was young. I used to sneak out. I grew up here in the Washington, D.C. region where I was very fortunate to be able to sneak off and see bands like Black Flag and The Exploited and the Agnostic Front stuff. And you know, it made such an impact on me, which is why thrash and crossover was a natural progression for me. It's a natural... You know, it fits like a glove, for you will. If there was a soundtrack to my life made, it would be 80% crossover jams. You know what I mean? Therefore, I'd need like a million of them. You know, and that does bring me to my point, which eventually a long-winded point, and you'll forgive me if you will, but it's an 18-song release. It embraces that crossover approach very much, man. And I love you for that.
I'm really pleased. I am really pleased. Just where I want it to be, back of the net. Perfect.
It's like, you know, perfect, right in the wheelhouse of crossover.
I'm honored.
When people hear the song here in just a few minutes, they're going to say to themselves, how the fuck do I get my copy of Blunt Cutters, which is a cool last name, by the way. I love the name.
Thank you.
But they're going to want to know how they can get their copy of Blunt Cutters and what is the best way to get their copy. And will there be a blunt cutter available on your merch thing at some point? You know,
you see, we know it's got a different connotation over there, hasn't it?
Yes, sir.
We know where you guys are going with that. It's not what it's about, but I like the fact that there could be 2, 3, 4 different reasons as to what Blunt Cutters is. It depends which country you're in, and I know it's a different thing in the US entirely.
It definitely appeals to the potheads here.
Yeah, I get that. So, whereas over here, it's just talking about the fact that, you know, the blades have got a bit rusty and we're a bit older. But I love the fact it's got, you know, these different connotations. It's cool. How do you get it? look, all the obvious stuff, isn't it? We're signed with a label called Dissonance, but that's part of Cherry Red, big old label anyway, isn't it? Cherry Red. So you can get it through Cherry Red's store. Go and hassle your local record store. It's on all the streaming sites. So, all the obvious and probably less obvious streaming sites.
And
which
merch
you
the
may
whole
or
thing,
not.
right? Like T-shirts.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Yeah, the whole gambit. So it's on CD, it's on coloured vinyl. For those that want it. If you don't want to buy it, get on Spotify or Apple or whatever.
No, don't listen to him. Don't listen to him.
But buy it.
Yeah,
but physical copy. It's a nice production. It's a nice gatefold. It's got good artwork. Go and get yourself a copy. But if you want a sneaky listen, you could hop on one of those sites you don't want to mention.
It's
all good with us.
We're a broken record here on the show of hard copy. The best way to support our scene is to support the band as a hard copy. But,
this isn't going to make me rich. I just want people to go and hear it. That's where we're coming from. And we're about the lifestyle. We're about a good story is what we're always about. What's the next story? And these can't, getting a release out will get us the next part of the story. So just go and get it any which way you want is my answer.
Right. Support the band.
And enjoy it. And if you hate it, hate it. Don't put it in the middle. That's the only thing from me. I cannot stand indifference to anything. You either love it or you hate it, and that's fine by me. Have an opinion, but don't sit in the middle and tell me it's okay, because that's just lazy.
I love you.
Nobody wants that. Have an opinion on it. That's all.
My father used to say all the time. You know what happens to people that sit on the fence? The fucking fence poles go right up their assholes. That's what happens. So
that's the one. Yeah, is there nothing worse than somebody going, "That was nice"?
Yeah, right.
And what does that mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I put emotion into it. Give me an emotional response, even if it is hate.
Exactly.
Fuck that. You Metal-O-Maniacs out there, I implore you, the best, most assured way on this planet possible to keep the kick-ass crossover scene alive and coming back for us is to support it. And you can do that by picking up your copy of Blunt Cutters and following this band because they're badass.
This is Pete from Lawnmower Deth, and you are listening to the Crypt and Scully on Metal-O-Mania. Come on.
They rise and dawn.
that's a snail watching that.
There's a snail in the desert.
Yeah, a spaceship dropped him off. Don't focus on the wrong part of the story, brother.
And the snail can talk?
Yeah, because they gave him powers to aliens.
Embrace the mess. That's where the good stuff lives.
I don't want to live the wrong life and then die.
We're missing 3 bags.
What's in them?
None of your fucking business.
Suits, socks, $100 million, the usual stuff.
got to come with me. I can't walk. They've tied my shoelaces together. A knot. Bastards.
How amazing is Pete for coming by the show? I'm so appreciative of your time, my brother. Fucking huge fan of the Lawnmower Deth guys. Huge fan of that new release. So glad you're back on the scene. Keep making goofy metal music for me to love, sir. Please. Please. And come back. We'll have to talk to him again, man. I really enjoyed that conversation, man. What a good guy. What a good guy. And if you were paying attention, you may have noticed that we followed up that interview with 2 more jams for you. And that was Some Chemical Annihilation. Originally formed in the 80s, this hardened thrash outfit from Portland has reassembled and put out this official debut release.
Oh, drink up.
Fuck yeah. It's sweeter than a public park full of hippies for you Portlanders out there. There you go. The release is called Resurrection, and that song was Virgin Blood from it. And behind that, we played Cadaverosity. I don't want to fuck that up. Cadaverosity? Cadaverosity. Cadaverosity. There you go. Cadaverosity. Say it right.
Probably right.
Cadaverosity.
That sounds about right, probably.
Cadaverosity is the name of the band and the release. We played Shoes On from it, another band that was reassembled to bless the metal world with magic. That was a debut EP.
Ooh, that's two.
So
You
double
owe
up
two
your
drinks.
drinking. And those are some Canadian metal killers for you. Back in vocals on that track, you may have noticed, was Luke LeMay of Gorguts.
Oh, okay.
Fuck yeah, you know how I feel about Gorguts. You know how I feel about your guts and Gorguts.
Yeah.
I have an affinity for both. So that brings me to I did drop.
You had two debuts in there, which I feel like we
Drink.
need to explain just in case.
Oh
you know,
yeah,
you
right.
don't-
If you are new to
not
the show,
familiar.
right.
Right.
Anytime we say the word debut, you get your drink on. If you're playing the drinking game, you do your bong hit. If you do prefer that method of navigation, or a push up, whatever you want to do, whatever your vice is.
Whatever you are into.
Right, we lean into it when we say debut.
Do it now.
There
Right.
you go. Do it now. Do it when we say debut. Debut. Now, all right. Now, and again, if you're a drinker, we're so much funnier. Deeper into the show, the deeper we get.
Right.
Although we're not going to get a chance to get you hammered going. How hammered can we get people going forward on the shortened shows that we're going to be doing? What the fuck? Are we going to lose getting
Well, that's
Thursday
2 nights a
hangovers and
week.
shit?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
was
true.
gonna say, so
Just you can recover on
maybe
Wednesday
We don't need to get.
and Friday.
Whatever. You do what you do. We don't.
All right. Yeah. Do as you do. We don't judge. But I mentioned the show that you don't remember, which we only watched about 200 of them together. But there was the Lewis Black Show. Greg Giraldo, a comedian we lost, who I miss, rest in peace, Mr. Giraldo, sir.
Okay.
Was not. Well, he was a stand-up comedian, but prior to being a stand-up comedian, he had gone to law school. He had an actual law degree. He was, he was going to be a lawyer before he threw that aside to be a comedian.
Okay.
But he was perfect for that show, and it's no coincidence that he was on it very often.
Okay.
And they would.
No, I think I do remember the show.
They would make cases. Patton Oswalt would make appearances. Lots of comedians would come on and go pro or con on various topics. And it was it was meant to be funny, and they were lighthearted, and they took, jabs at things. But I really like the idea of bringing that back in kind of a metal capacity, man. Like we've talked about it before, and I've even recruited people that are interested. But see, the problem with it is it takes work. And it takes time, and it takes attention, and it takes effort. Nobody has that, which I get. I'm not even shitting on anybody for that. I get it.
Absolutely.
But like, I had the idea of doing a court case day for new metal, in new metal. I have guys already. I won't even mention their names in case we actually do it at some point. But I have people ready to make a case pro new metal.
Okay.
And I have guys recruited to make a case anti new metal. And I think we could keep it lighthearted. We could keep it fun. We could go back and forth as if it were a court case.
Okay.
And make it fun. The Lewis Black Show was the root of all evil. I don't know what we would call ours. If you have an idea for that, we'd love to hear it. But
okay.
I think it would be fun. That's all I'm saying. We could have a new metal, the grunge metal thing, the Metallica. Did they sell out? Kind of an art. You know what I mean? That we could do so.
Okay. Just all the traditional arguments.
Right. We could give them their day in court.
Okay.
As it were. What do you think?
All right. Well, maybe that's
Metallica
the
versus
name of the
Megadeth.
show.
Maybe
Your day in court.
Oh, it's day in court. I don't dislike that, my dear. Metal-O-Mania's day in court. Ooh, I like it. I like it. You're a thinker, this one. I keep her around for a reason, you guys, and it's not just that she's a looker, but you are, love.
Oh.
Okay,
thanks.
so, yeah, and again, if you're hanging out, we just celebrated 23 years together, you guys, Scully and I.
23 motherfucking years.
23.
We
A
got
lot of you
married
reached
5
out to.
years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, but
we got married on our 18th anniversary
23
together,
years.
right? And a lot of you have been fantastic. We really appreciate it. A lot of you have reached out to say happy anniversary and send us love, and you rock.
Yes, thank you for all the love. I know that there's
super
a
cool.
lot of love on Facebook and stuff, and thank you very much.
Well, yeah, and she gets on Facebook maybe
On
to see
Wednesday
the
nights.
show
I guess
on
now
Wednesday
it'll be like
nights.
Tuesday and Thursday, I guess.
Right.
So.
Now, yeah, maybe we'll encourage you to get
Then I'll
social
be there
media.
a little bit more. But.
We'll see. We'll see. I was funny. I'm changing topics on you quickly, but I was talking behind the scenes about the customer service stuff, and we have a very good friend of ours who we talk to who manages a GameStop.
Oh my God, he probably has so many stories.
He does, but he doesn't want to come on the air and tell them because he's
Yeah.
afraid to put it out there that he manages the game. And I get it, dude. There are certain jobs. Maybe that's a topic for our list for a future episode. what are the jobs that you have that people, once they hear that's what you do, they're like fucking drive you nuts, you know, like a doctor fucking look at my
somebody
mole
like
or
to get
something.
tickets to something.
Oh
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
fuck,
Like,
you do
if were a
tickets?
guy
Yeah,
that do like,
forget
you
it.
know, has concert tickets
Right.
or something.
You work at
kind
a
of
video game
venue
store,
or
right? All that,
something,
man.
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
I bet. You know, hey, you work at a fucking you know, a
We
garage.
used to work at Domino's,
I got my brake
and people
problem.
always kind of expected us to have pizza all
Right.
the time. Like,
Well,
you know,
yeah, and
we're
free
just
pizza.
always carry pizza around. Like that's just part of like you know my personality now. Is I'm just
I
like,
keep pizza in my back pocket, man. That's
pizza
how I
for
roll.
you, and a pizza for you. You know, like
It's a pizza pie. Yeah, man.
the
Well,
people that work places don't just have an abundance of that stuff hanging
yeah,
around
they don't just
for
keep
you.
it. That's not. They don't just say, "Hey, man, in case your friends want pizza, you can have 7 for your car." That's not how that works. Yeah, that is funny though. Well, you know, and there's certain things like that too, man, where people think it's just like.
I want to be friends with a jeweler. Is all I'm saying. You know,
yeah,
diamonds for
Yeah,
everybody.
you can give me
right?
free diamonds, right? I mean, you work at a jewelry store, bro. You know, right? That's
Same mentality.
there is some mentality that seems to be on par with that. But yeah, crazy shit, man. Crazy shit. But we have great ideas on shows that we want to do in the future. If you have an idea that you would like us to discuss or a countdown show you would like to just do, you know, hit us up, the Iron Kings at yahoo.com is how you reach us most effectively with your ideas. Say, attention, Crypt, you're a fat fuck. And I will get it for you. Well, less of a fat fuck, but
Yeah, you're a skinny fuck.
you're skinnier fuck than you used to be. On metal news, we have a little bit of metal news to get into for you. I see that Kirk Hammett of Metallica fame, we just mentioned, I'd like to do a court case, Metallica versus Megadeth.
Oh my god.
But Kirk Hammett of Metallica fame is about to release a 4-song solo instrumental EP.
Okay.
It's called Portals. Some may remember in 2017, Mr. Hammett did a thing in Salem, Massachusetts, a place that me and Scully have been to together. That was fun, wasn't it? We went for Halloween, too.
Yep.
During the whole witch thing and everything. It was cool. But he had a thing where he did an exhibit on the horror movies that he loves. It was called the Kirk Hammett horror exhibit, excuse me. And he had started to create kind of instrumental music to play over the loudspeakers as people would go through the exhibits and stuff. Well, that instrumental project for that turned into what has now become a 4-song EP eventually. Okay. I'm looking forward to it. I think he's talented.
To it, or did
no,
he
instrumental completely.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
100% instrumental. And you know me, I love a good instrumental. I love Pelican. I'm such a huge fan of Pelican and Gru and stuff like that. And I'm looking forward to it. I've always thought Kirk Hammett was a very talented cat. I'm a fan of early Metallica.
Songs sound good until the singing starts. It's like,
right? Yeah. Often Scully's like, "Man, that was great till that dude started singing."
But
all right. But I was asked recently, also in some of the incomings that we got from you guys, why we don't do kind of a running show, a list every week on upcoming releases. And my response to I guess I run a banner here and there on, hey, this album's coming out, this album's coming out.
We tell you about it mostly.
Right. That's kind of what our show is, though. Right. I'm so glad
you got to put it in list
you get
format?
where I was going there.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Right. If it's not in list format, does it not count? Because that is what we do. The show is that.
Right. Like
every
week, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's what's coming out this week, right?
Yeah. Now we don't. I guess there are genres we don't cover so much.
Well,
but
you know,
there
at the
are.
end of the show, a long time ago, we used to actually have a one page that was like whatever the title page was, where we would put like the whole playlist.
Oh, right.
So it was like a summary of like
the
all
whole
bands,
playlist that
you know.
night and shit.
Yeah, which you know would be cool to be able to take a screenshot of or whatever to be able.
Nowadays, it's kind of in the YouTube comments. It's kind of on the social media. If you follow us on social media at all, it's pretty easy to.
I think you can figure it out.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to follow and get it. You know, and
People just always want to give you ideas on something that they don't, you know. I don't
Right.
know.
Right. Well,
It's a reason why they're not tuning in or they're not doing it or whatever. Because like if you had done it this way or if you were doing it this way, like you know, right?
You're
like,
not wrong about that, man.
So it's just a weird.
You're not wrong about that. Well, and on that note, we our show is that. But if you do want to have a more fuller list of the things that are coming out, there is I'm going to give my YouTube shout out of the week right here is what I'm building up to, honestly, and that's Metal Collision. There's a YouTube channel called Metal Collision. They honestly don't have as many followers or subs as they should at all. It's a great metal channel. And it literally every week they put out a video, and it's every genre of metal that you can imagine. It's a running thing. They pick a song and play it over the background while they tell you the date and releases of everything.
Oh, nice.
It lists the genre, it lists the band, it lists the name of the album, it lists the fucking labels.
Whatever I was just asking for. So
exactly
perfect.
right. So if we
What was it again?
Metal Collision. So if you do not feel as though we're covering enough of those bases for you, I highly recommend that you check out Metal Collision. Shit, I highly recommend you check them out anyway. They're doing great things for the metal scene with what they do. So
awesome.
That's our YouTube recommendation this week, because we like when a rising tide raises all ships, and we like what people are out there doing for metal.
Oh yeah, definitely. And also, it's probably an appropriate time to talk about the Spotify list. So every week there's a featured band for whoever the interview of the week is.
Right.
It is the featured band, and then beyond that specific week, they're just in the playlist now, right? So if you go to the Metal-O-Mania Spotify list, it's fucking hours.
You can't listen to it all.
Put it on shuffle, and it's
play
just
the
going to
fuck
be
out of
all kinds of awesome, amazing music. That's very new stuff. So,
All new stuff. It's literally bands we're celebrating on their bands that have come on the show, even. So it's the portfolio of those bands we've talked to. And I'm pretty excited about that.
It's awesome.
We've had amazing bands. We had Insanity Alert come on last week, which was awesome. We had Pizza Death come on. We've in the coming weeks, we got Great American Ghost, we got Ingested, we got fucking Slow Bleed, we got we talked to Lawnmower Deth earlier, we're talking to Sarcasm here soon, and I'm very proud of the bands that we've able.
I mean, we're 200 something shows.
A lot of shows have had multiple interviews. I've interviewed well over 300 bands at this point, so that's pretty cool. Wow. Pretty cool, man.
Awesome.
The funnest part of what I do
is
exactly that. So, but there you go, man. So I just wanted to give some love. And of course, I always, when we're mentioning YouTube channels that we love, I love Thralls of Metal. I'm going to say that weekly because they are literally one of the more fun things I do on the internet these days that don't involve nudity. And hey, Nick and John, throw me a little nudity, would you?
Keep it that way?
Yeah, we'll get dirty.
I'm sorry,
we'll
I meant, get naked.
Yeah, see, look, get naked. There you go.
You're going to want to take off your clothes and touch each other. But if you do touch each other, you will get chlamydia and die.
So there you go. We have lots of ideas. We're kind of brewing things. Things are changing in format, but we got no quit in us, and nobody outworks us, goddammit. So let's bring in our buddy Heval from Swedish death metal badasses Sarcasm, man. I'm super excited about this guy and this release and this album. The album's called Stellar Stream Obscured. It's just flat out badassery. It's death metal. It's got touches of black metal elements in there that fucking really turn it up a notch. Big fan of this release. Big fan of this band. Let's bring in Heval, and then we'll play Apocalyptic Serenity from it. And I think I may have thrown a few more jams in there for you, but we'll talk about that on the back end. Speaking of back end, you ready to hear these, Scully?
Yeah, let's play some metal.
Here we go.
And now for something completely different.
All right, Metal-O-Maniacs, welcome back to the show, and welcome back. Joining us right now to talk a little badassery is my new pal all the way from Sweden, representing Sarcasm, a band that I really love and have loved for a long time, and we'll get into that, but welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, man. I really do appreciate it a great deal. On a personal level, I am a fan, so I appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
So, well,
nice
let's talk. Let's talk. Well, for those who do not know, introduce yourself, please, my friend.
My name is Heval. I'm the vocalist in Sarcasm. I live in Sweden and very busy right now with promoting the new album. Tons of interviews, more than expected. So, it's a lot to do right now.
Yeah, hey, stay busy, right? Staying busy is a good thing.
Yeah, it's very, very hectic at the moment. But that's the part of promoting the album. So you just got to live with it.
Right. Well, that's part of the buzz. See, Stellar Stream Obscured, of course, is the name of the brand new, just recently released album by Sarcasm out there, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. I hope that you picked it up. But that's the buzz from a kick-ass release, man. See, it kicks so much ass that now everybody wants to talk to you about it. So, tell me a little bit about the new record. Tell me a little bit about, I know that it's been a weird time in the world the last couple of years where where were you in the stage of creating what would be Stellar Stream when I guess the world went on shutdown? Were you already working on it when the world went on shutdown, or how did that fall into your plans there?
Actually, all the music on Stellar was written before the pandemic, like 6 months before. But the lyrics I started with just when that occurred, in February 2020, when there were shutdowns everywhere. So I completed the lyrics in 6 months, from February to August that year, 2020.
Right.
And we recorded it last spring, 21. So, but it didn't. The pandemic didn't affect us that much. We did as we always do. We go in, we have our own studio, and we record it. And we went there all the time, everyone. So that wasn't any problem.
That's awesome.
It went really smooth. The recording process went really smooth. But it's a concept story. It's a concept album divided into 2 chapters, and it's a sci-fi post-apocalyptic story set in 2095, and the world is in the brink of destruction. The final days of our world, you could say. There are lots of nasty things happening to this planet. So that's the first part of the story. And it starts with a very powerful leader telling this view he's seeing at the moment. And all of a sudden he is teleported to another planet.
Oh, shit.
A portal opens and he's teleported to another planet where some secrets are revealed to him, because this planet don't want the destruction of Earth. So there are some messages that being revealed and delivered to him. Yeah, and a script is delivered to this leader so he can go back and save this planet. So that after the 4th song, that chapter closes with him coming back to Earth.
The spinning tube.
So you don't know how it went. So the story ends abruptly there. But the chapter 2, there's another story, completely different. Another figure is telling his story about the situation of his world. And you think, what happened before? There's no connection, you know.
Right. Where'd you leave me?
Yeah. But the last song, both stories connect. Then you finally get why the abrupt ending. And you might say it's a twist, a surprise. So I won't reveal anything.
Fuck yeah, you got to listen to the record. I like it. It.
I want people to read the lyrics, you know, because it's a very scary ending, very surprise ending. So no spoilers here.
No spoilers. So it's an 8-song ride, then, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, 4 songs each chapter.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And then Let Us Descend, it comes all together.
Yeah, that's everything with the intro. There's an intro to Let Us Descend, and everything is revealed the first couple of lines with a talking voice. There's a bit of talking voice there, and then when the song explodes, everything is obvious.
Fuck yeah.
So,
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I hope people buy the record and read the lyrics. That's my wish.
Well, we're a broken record around here at Metal-O-Mania. We're always telling people you need the hard copy. You're a metalhead, you need the hard copy. You need something in your hand, you know?
Yeah.
You need to read the lyrics. You need to look at the artwork, which the artwork on this is, by the way, is also badass, man. I love the album cover.
Yes,
cool.
it's very, yeah, we asked Raul again, Raul Gonzalez. He did our other 3 albums before. So he knows, you know, we have this figure on this album, our mascot, Sarkar. So we want to use him again.
Yeah, Sarkar, right? Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
So, and Raul knows how to paint this guy, so why not? We thought. And it's a very, very death metal looking album cover.
Fuck yeah.
The last album was very cold, you know. It's very icy, very bluish. But this time we wanted something completely death metal, you know, rotten and decaying and lots of corpses piling up each other.
Fuck yeah. And one that goes along with the tale behind the record. And let's be honest, you know, there are, what do you say when someone like myself notices that there's definitely tends to be an element of blackenedness that's seeping into the records as you guys develop as a band? You know, there seems to be a little bit more of a blackened element behind what you do, and even more so maybe perhaps even in this record. Was that kind of just the influences and what you know, kind of what you got in your guts? Was that intentional, or just, you know, what happened?
The black metal elements we've always had, you know, since the first album. We want to, you know, combine both worlds. There are very, you know, we don't want to be a pure death metal band. We want to explore and have diversity in the songs and add some atmosphere. We think is there's more atmosphere in that black metal
for sure
atmosphere.
And
so,
that comes out in your approach. Actually, it is a very atmospheric record. Well, and on top of that, you know, and tell us who the other guys are that make up the band, because man, I got to tell you, the guitar work on this thing is just silly, just crazy good, man. Who are the other guys that make up Sarcasm with you?
We have Peter Leitinen. He's the main composer. No, he's the only composer in the band. He writes all the music. 100% of the music is coming from his mind, you know.
Awesome.
All the solos and the arrangements. So yeah, he's a good guitarist, and
he's crazy good.
Songwriter. Yeah, very very good.
Very good.
So we have our other guitarist Anders Eriksson. He's more of a rhythm guitarist.
Fuck yeah.
And we have Jonas Söder on bass, very good bassist also, and Alvaro Svanerö on drums.
Fuck yeah. Well, and the Peter, Jonas, and Alvaro joined the band basically in the most recent incarnation of the band, but you and Anders go back quite a bit at this point, correct?
Yeah, from 94. Anders played guitar on our first album from 94.
Awesome.
But he isn't the original member. He joined the band 4 years after the band was reformed.
The initial inception, right?
Yeah.
Well, what's up next for the Sarcasm project, though? Is there plans to take this on the road? Is this more of a studio thing at the moment? I realize the time in the world is a little goofy, so it kind of does hamper your plans a little bit, but what's kind of your next step with what you want to do with the Sarcasm project?
We haven't discussed this actually. Anything. Also, we do gigs usually, but we haven't discussed if we will do any shows or festivals, and no one knows about the situation of the world either this year.
Very uncertain times.
Yeah, it's very uncertain. We don't know, to tell you the truth.
Wow. Yeah. What a weird fucking thing, huh?
Yeah, but we have written a new album with Sarcasm. We will record it this fall.
Awesome.
So there's plenty to do anyway.
Fuck yeah.
So we'll see.
Well, that's awesome. That means this has a January release. This just came out a couple of weeks ago. And then, so sometime in the next year, within the next year, we get the next piping hot fucking edition, man. Very excited about that.
It's going to be, I think, the plan is to release it next spring, 2023, if everything goes as planned, you know.
Well, let's play Apocalyptic Serenity for everybody right now. Tell me a little bit about this song in particular, sir. Where does this song fall in the storyline?
This song is the seventh song of the album. It's not the last. It's the song before. It's eight songs on this album. So it's about this person who is describing his situation. He is in his shelter in outer space, and is describing his anguish that about his planet and how it has being evolved to. I won't reveal anything because there's some crucial
elements,
piece stuff. Yeah. So, but it's a very, very, sad type of expression.
Realization. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And perhaps you can hear some of it in the song, in the vocals.
Well, I absolutely love this song. I love this release, man. I love this band. I love the projects that you're involved with, man.
Thank you.
Again, on a personal note, I am a fan of what you're doing, brother, very much. This Sarcasm release is fucking something we were kind of juiced up and looking forward to, especially after the last one has been one that means a great deal to us. So, and it certainly doesn't disappoint, man. What a fantastic release, and we appreciate you coming on to talk to us about it.
Thank you.
Fuck yeah, man. Well, when everybody gets through hearing this song, their very first question is going to be, where can I pick up my copy? Where can I go and follow this band? Where can I go get Stellar Stream Obscured? And what should we tell them? What's the best answer to that?
Well, I think the record is available everywhere. I mean, we're on Hammerheart right now, and they have very good distribution everywhere. So in every country, I think you can find it. There won't be a problem at all, I think. Yeah. I mean, it's available on vinyl to 3 different colors, I think, and CD and digital. A tape version is coming also this summer.
Yeah, gotta have them cassettes now. I'm going old school.
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, I recommend the album. If people like epic, death metal with black metal elements, with very much drama.
Yeah, with a good story. That's right, with a good story.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Well, we'll play them a piece of it right now. That'll be the only argument we need to give them is to play them this song, and they'll be sold. So.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, sure.
Awesome. Heval, thank you very much, brother. I do appreciate your time more than you know, sir.
Thank you very much. This is Heval from Sarcasm, and you're watching Metal-O-Mania with the Crypt.
rain. It's like angels are splooching all over us.
When it's time to get a divorce, women got it made. They go to court, start talking that shit. Your Honor, I'm used to this, I'm used to that, I'm accustomed to this. Yo, what the fuck is a custom? What that got to do with shit? Hey, you go to a restaurant, you're accustomed to eating. You leave, you ain't eating no more. They don't owe you a steak. And when they go to court, talk that shit, Your Honor, I'm used to this, I'm used to that, I want some money, give me some money. They get the money. What about what the man's used to? What about what the man's accustomed to? That might not be money, but during the course of a relationship, a man grows accustomed to a few things. And I would love to see a man go to court and say, Your Honor, check this out. You know, I'm accustomed to fucking her 4 times a week. Now I feel I should be able to fuck at least twice a week. I mean, she can have the alimony, but I want some pussy payments.
Hey, this is Abbas from Godless, and you're listening to Metal-O-Mania with The Crypt.
like ass play, he'll do anything with the ass.
There's a new building in my house called The Rock. You guys handing out some flyers outside. You coming on down to The Rock this weekend? We got live music, food, drinks, stuff for the kids.
That sounds like church.
No, it's a teen center where it's a community-based health initiatives and a pregnancy. Yeah, it's church.
I wouldn't get mad, but they have tried to trick me.
Want to come to a show? It's a clean show.
Sure, where's it at?
Cool new coffee shop.
Oh yeah, what's it called?
Crossroads. No!
Stop lurking behind your Jimi Hendrix font. If they want to get the numbers in and do the switcheroo, just call it something everybody wants to go to.
You coming on down to Sex Hole?
Yes! Shouldn't have to advertise. Sex hole? Everybody wants to go to sex hole. What's going on inside?
We're gonna come on in to find out.
Oh, man. That sounds like church.
No stems, no seeds that you don't need. Acapulco Gold is
badass weed.
Huge thank you to Heval from Sarcasm. I'm, again, just a big fan of that band. Please go out and pick up your copy of Stellar Stream Obscured today. Badassery abounds, and you may have noticed that I kind of cheated. That did set up our sandwich this week, and I cheated. Usually our sandwich in the middle there, and I don't even know how we're going to do the sandwiches going forward. That's something else for me to figure out. But
formatting. With
reformatting things.
Question.
But in our show, on our 244 shows, the middle of our sandwich is usually our old school jam of the week. We like to play an old school jam. We like to nod to the early days of metal, at least once per episode, and we'll figure out what we're doing in the future. But we kind of cheated this week in that it was an old jam. We played Angel of Death, the old Slayer song, but we played a new version from it from our buddies in Godless. Yeah, man. Godless just did a cover of that. Fucking killer. And Godless, if you're fans of Godless, we just talked to those guys on the show about a month ago. Their new release, States of Chaos, is insanely great. Those dudes are out of India and just old school death metal at its finest, man. I love the fuck out of those guys. Thank you to those cats. I know they watch the show too. Thank you, man. Much love to you guys. And then we played some Centinex behind that. The song was Armageddon from the Pestilence. More Swedish death metal for you. More Swedish death metal.
I've been doing a lot of Swedish death metal.
Yes, please. Yeah, right. That EP is set for an April Fool's Day release, by the way, so it is not out yet.
Okay.
But that to go along with 11 full-length albums that they have out into the world. That's a discography for you to binge on. Speaking of binging on things, get into some Centinex and do some binging. So back to the show. We do have a few more songs for you to play later in the show, so don't go anywhere. We got more shit to get into. But that was your 244th and perhaps last official, at least formatted in that fashion, sandwich. So I hope you got full, bitches.
I hope you got your fill.
Yeah, man.
It just tastes so damn good.
Hope you got full. So, all right. Now, I'm just going to get into this a little bit, and then we're going to close the show with some jams. But people keep sending me the fucking Nikki Sixx goddamn Eddie Vedder story. And I'm just going to tell you, for starters, don't care. I mean, I do care about one angle of it, and that's the angle we're going to talk about tonight, which has nothing to do with Eddie Vedder or Nikki Sixx, honestly, because fuck both of them. Now, for full disclosure, I was a Motley Crue fan at one point. I'm an old guy. I was, when the first two Motley Crue albums came out, I did like them. I was a fan. I liked Shout at the Devil. I did get into that. Now granted, when heavier stuff came along, I got into heavier stuff and away from some of that. But Eddie Vedder can suck my nuts.
Okay.
Pearl Jam and all that shit. I happened to DJ during the time that 10 album was big at a local bar. And everybody wanted to hear the Even Flow and the Jeremy and all that shit. And honestly, it made me hate it. I'm not sure if I would hate it the way that I do if it weren't for that. But
have it on repeat.
Oh, it made me just despise them. But I do also think that Eddie Vedder is a fucking cocksucker. I think he's a fucking pompous dickhole, and I don't care for him. Now, granted, Nikki Sixx is not setting any records for being a cool dude either, probably these days. He's kind of a douchebag, he seems like. But the angle of this, it all started with this. Eddie Vedder apparently did an interview where he said his earliest days working at a club was during the heyday of music like Motley Crue. And he despised the way girls were objectified, and he despised the way that scene, was so debauched and fucking celebrated sexualized content and all that shit. And man, right off the start, fuck you, dude. Am I wrong? Anyway, so Nikki Sixx, I guess, eventually fired back with "Your music's boring and you suck," which he's fucking 1,000% right about. And it's kind of led to this back and forth more and more. And honestly, I don't care about the Nikki Sixx Eddie Vedder part of it. What I want to talk about for just a minute, and then we'll play the last song. I don't even want to dive too deeply, but I do want to scratch the surface a little bit with all of you out there. Is it no longer okay to sexualize things that are meant to be sexualized? I promise you, at the Motley Crue shows, and I was at some of them. I'm full disclosure. Again, I was at some of them. Those women there dressed that way on purpose. It wasn't an accident. You know what I mean? There was some, it's weird how we kind of draw the line in the sand. It's okay that porn exists. And by the way, more violent and fucking crazy than ever in this crazy, decentralized, everybody sensitive world. Porn has gotten more violent than ever. I'm a lifetime fan. I'll believe that until I die. It's more violent than ever. But we're okay with that. But everything else we're trying to water down. Everything else has to be, homogenized. Everything else has to be fucking, it wasn't okay to sexualize these girls in an 80s club wearing makeup and 4 pounds of aqua velvet in her fucking hair and shit. Of course it was. Am I wrong? what is your top of the? Am I barking up a wrong tree?
I don't sexualizing them. I guess. What do you mean by that? Like,
nowadays we live in a world where if you say anything sexual, if anything is sexualized whatsoever, there's always going to be the fucking the karma police out there, or the let's be honest, the self-aggrandizing police is what it is. Look at Eddie Vedder's whole stance is, I'm better than that. I'm not the kind of guy that would objectify a woman. And shut the fuck up. Of course you are.
Yeah,
in certain instances, of course you are. Everyone is. You're a human being.
Anything that is consensual on any part is fine. So they showed up to the clubs wearing what they wanted to wear. I don't think that
doesn't mean you get to grab them.
Right.
That's not what I'm saying at all.
That's why I guess I'm a little confused about what specifically he was referring to as far as I wouldn't do that. I don't know if he had something in the back of his mind that he's really more referring to.
I believe he's leaning into lyrical content, honestly. Let's be honest. 99.9% of Motley Crue and all those songs are about let's get pussy in the bar, let's get pussy in the elevator, let's get pussy in the back of this car, everywhere I go, pussy, pussy, pussy. So it is definitely a genre that glorified of the objectifying of sex and sex-related things. It definitely did that. But it was rock and roll and debauchery. And
everything when it comes down to is about hooking up or being in love or being some kind of something related to that.
Have we stopped fucking each other that we can't even talk about fucking anymore?
I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think people are making that big.
I believe you're wrong.
You're
with
way
all
more
due
plugged
respect,
into the social
with
media
all due
than I
respect,
am,
I believe you're wrong. We now live in a world where sexualizing of anything is a problem. You are a monster for doing it. You are,
Well, I think you're not allowed to sexualize something. They are allowed to sexualize themselves. You know what I mean? And then you can state the obvious. I'm not going to hold that against you.
Well, in the Eddie Vedder case, then, as just an example, I feel like it's the obvious thing that was a time frame where that was being celebrated. That we do got to get away from that. Then maybe that's even the root of all problems and evil there. Flashback to root of all evil, what I said earlier. But, we live in the time we live in now. So it's nearly impossible. I'm not even judging people for this, but it is nearly impossible to look through the prism of the past and get that it's just a different time now. You know what I mean? People watch an episode of that Archie Bunker show, the fucking All in the Family now. You'll be appalled.
That's Japanese. Same thing. It's not the same thing.
What are you talking about? You put a Jap and a chink together. You're going to tell me which is which? Sure, you talk to them. You say which one of you guys is the chink.
You won't be able to watch that show. He uses racial slurs. You would never get away with that today. And honestly, the hair metal thing, the overriding message to the hair metal thing, again, we live in a time where that shit would never sell today. It would never, there's not a market for it. There, maybe old pervert guys, I guess, that loved it back in the 80s, I guess, but there is not a young market out there that's like, yes, give me that song about fucking me in a Wendy's bathroom, but just because the time is different doesn't mean it was wrong.
Because it's not new anymore. It's not.
There's a lot to that.
Right.
I believe there's a lot to that. You played it out. What's the old term? Jump the shark. The term "jump the shark" came from the Happy Days show. Was great, and then when Fonzie literally jumped sharks in one of the episodes on a surfboard, a lot of people turned it off. Kind of like, all right, you went a little too far. But that's what it is. It runs its course until it jumps the shark, and then you cast shadow and shame on it, I guess. Maybe that's a pastime. Maybe that's the pastime we've made of this type of thing. But
I think maybe you're giving that guy specifically having that opinion too much credit. And then that is, if he's just like, oh, I don't like this, and nobody paid any mind to it.
Well, a lot of people have,
though.
A lot of people have, though. Eddie Vedder has spoken, my love. And people have lined up to say, yeah, that, that was wrong the way we sexualized things in the 80s and blah, blah, blah. And I just think that it still exists. Nothing's changed. It's just not in that song. You know what I mean? Like, okay, hair metal's gone, but the sexualizing of things still happens all the time. There's,
So I guess today's genre, today's example is, like the Harley Quinn, the very first movie, she's basically wearing almost nothing the whole time, right?
Right.
Because that's what people like and that's what people want. And,
sex sells, blah, blah, blah.
It makes it fun and whatever.
Right.
Like, I understand as the actress that's got to walk around half naked the whole entire time, and this is your fucking job. You know what I mean?
She fought for and won. Right.
The ability to wear more. And she was still sexy. She's still hot as shit. She's still, you didn't take anything away from the movie at all. But I understand that, she's more comfortable with it. She prefers that, you know what I mean? So I think
And
that's
she thinks
where
it's more about the character,
the
less about the
difference is.
sexualization, I guess.
Right.
But
So she didn't want that, you know what I mean? So you have to kind of respect that, I think is where it is.
I do
if
think
it went the other way around, you know what I mean, then you would respect that. It's what the individual, I think, requests.
I don't
maybe.
know, man. I mean, I think in theory that's what it should be, but I'm not sure I'm sold that that's what it is. I honestly believe we live in a world where everybody has to stand on a soapbox and show you, what's the word? It's a common phrase that's slipping my mind right now, but like, everybody wants to self-pompous themselves up. I'm above this. I'm above this. But if that's the case, answer me this. Why is a 12-second video shot on TikTok of a girl? Look on TikTok for 5 minutes. That's a brand new invention. TikTok's been here for 12 minutes total. But if you flip through it, it's nothing but girls pulling their boobs out. So if we're so advanced, you know what I mean? If we're so beyond that, if we're so fucking above and beyond sexualizing people, and
That's what I'm saying. Like, who is saying that we are?
Everybody, the culture movement is saying that we are, baby. The Eddie Vedders of the world are saying that that's no longer the world we live in. We're not allowed to sexualize people. The fucking I hate to even use the word woke police because it has such political connotations at this point, and I'm going to avoid all that. But for lack of a better term, the woke police is a very real thing that is saying exactly that. I love you, and I love that you've disconnected yourself from social media and all that, but I'm sorry you're wrong on this one, babe. There is a movement underway.
It doesn't have any effect
Well,
on
yeah,
you.
right. Yeah, but you disconnected yourself from the world. Most people haven't. Most people are definitely living plugged into the social media world. Most people are voicing an opinion on this, and I got to tell you, there's a movement underway that is saying it's no longer okay to sexualize things, man. That's the world we live in now. We live in a world where that's not okay, and I say bullshit, and it's proven by TikTok.
You can't just objectify people, that where it's not wanted. But
I'll close the rant on this, and then we'll play some music and get out of here because clearly you don't want to talk about it anymore. But my whole thing here is just hypocrisy. I believe it's hypocrisy. People are so up their own ass with hypocritical shit. The same guy, even Eddie Vedder himself. Are you going to tell me Eddie Vedder never watches porn and jerks off or something? Isn't that objectifying to a degree? I mean, you're fucking doing it. I think that we now live in a world where you say something in public and then behind closed doors, you're a lying fucking asshole in most cases. Not everybody. Metalheads are more true to form. But I do believe that the only things that's changed is the pompousness, is the social media stance. You get out on your social media soapbox and say, I'm better than everybody, while doing the exact same shit everybody else does. It's like the joke that we played. We played the Jim Jeffries speech a couple of weeks ago on the show where he talks about how, paying a woman for sex is illegal unless you film it, right? If you film it, all of a sudden it's legal. And I'm simply making the case that that's where we live now. We live in a world of such hypocrisy that we just accept it for face value without recognizing how hypocritical we are, man. And we need to get off that. We need to get past that. We need to be more honest with who we are. And, this pompous bullshit has to go. I know we are running low on time, so I want to get out of here by just reminding everybody, please, to help us grow our YouTube channel. We are an age-restricted show on YouTube, as we mentioned earlier, so the only way we can grow is with your help. So please, grab a metalhead, share us, put us on social media, help us grow our
You'll get to see an occasional
following.
boobie.
You get to see an occasional boobie. You can't go wrong.
Which is why they won't help us share it.
Eddie Vedder won't like it.
Yeah.
But you will.
There you go.
So there we go. All right. Well, let's get out of here, man. Starting next week, don't forget, we're going to be doing Mom six packs on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So please hang out with us and let's do metal. Cool.
Yeah.
Scully will be here for at least one of them shows. So we'll see you next week. And we'll see you all next week too, right? With more guests, more metal, just different ways of delivery. That's all. All right. And 244 goes into the books.
Switching up positions.
You're switching Kama Sutra positions. So here we go. We're going to play these last two songs, get the fuck out of here. And if you don't mind, when they're over, lock the door and shut out the lights.
All right.
After Anime Torment, we're going to play Garrote from Anime Torment, a new single from these deathcore badasses out of Chechnya. We played them before. They destroy things, and that's why we love them. Support badassery. And to close the show this week, we got some analepsy. That's right, analepsy. Drawn to the name, stayed for the jam. Quiescence is the name of their new release. It's a sophomore outing to go along with an EP they have out in the world. It's slamming brutal death metal out of Portugal. Locus of Dawning is the name of the song, and it's also how we're getting the fuck out of here this week. So please do enjoy, and we'll see you all for double doses next week. Double dipping.
Oh, yeah.
Double dipping starting next week. You ready, Skulls?
Yeah, that'll be good.
Fuck yeah. So we'll see you all then. Thank you for doing the show with me tonight, Miss Skulls. I appreciate your time. Appreciate you got back, and we're rolling into 2022 and
God, it's
changing it up.
By, so
hard to believe.
Enjoy every moment while you can.
Fuck yeah, man. Promises of tomorrow do not exist, so jam today.
Oh yeah.
See you next week.
Much love.
Much metal.
You got a great attitude, so come on, you old son of a gun, and let Buster do a line off your boner.
Don't you want to just stick your dick in her?
Wait, what's that now?
chicken head, 2 o'clock.
Drive-through blowjobs.
Listen to Metal-O-Mania, all right? You're not a patriot unless you listen to Metal-O-Mania, all right?
This just in. Scientists have discovered that once you've been infected by Metal-O-Mania, there is no cure. Contact Scully right away for more and more metal to feed the dragon.